us give this beautiful planet to a creature with intelligence and free will, and see what it does with it. These were the words said to Dolores Cannon, who came up with the quantum healing hypnosis technique. After practicing hypnosis for 45 years, Dolores mastered it. She claims to be able to put patients in a semi-awake state where they can remember a past life. This theta or semi-awake brainwave state can also regress clients into a life-between-life state on the spirit world. They can also see future life or parallel life, if the Oversoul allows it. The Oversoul is the source energy of all life, our creator. With its permission, you can speak to passed on loved ones or travel anywhere in the universe. This is where Dolores learned the sacred knowledge, part 2. This is the legend of Mount Shasta and the city of Telos. For decades now, people of Mount Shasta, California, claim that a highly advanced ancient civilization lives in the mountain, known as Lemurians. And this is their story. Around 25,000 years ago, the Atlanteans, who lived in Atlantis, and the Lemurians from Lemuria, broke out into an all-out nuclear war over differing ideologies. See, the Atlanteans wanted to take over lesser civilizations and enslave them. But the Lemurians, who were peace-loving beings of light, said they should be left alone to evolve on their own. The result, the thermonuclear war that ravaged our planet. When the supernuke Nara 1 went off, it caused massive earthquakes on the Richter scale of up to 15. These massive shifts in the Earth's tectonic plates caused supervolcanoes and mega tsunamis that wiped out civilizations and species across the planet. Once the cataclysm started, the fighting stopped. They realized what they had done, but it's too late, part 2. U.S. military engineer with the highest-ranking security clearance turns whistleblower claiming they went to war with gray aliens underground. Philip Snyder, a top-ranking military engineer at the time, was working as an explosive expert when he was helping the U.S. government build secret underground military bases in Dulce, New Mexico. And this is his story. It was the summer of 1979 when Snyder began working on the Dulce, New Mexico underground military base. Everything was going along smoothly until Snyder noticed something that began to bother him. He grew suspicious when he noticed a large amount of Green Berets and Special Forces showing up to the base. But as time went on, nothing happened, even though more Green Berets continued to show up. Until one hot summer day in 1979, when they sunk a shaft leading into the next subterranean level where they figured they could build another base. Little did he know that when the dust settled, his life would change forever. When Snyder finally regained his vision, he saw 7-foot-tall ET. Spec Ops Soldier turns whistleblower, part 3. In November of 1994, Navy pilot and engineer called on Patriot 2 as he requested to remain anonymous during this interview. Had to fly the scientific expedition team to West Antarctica to a place known as Marie Byrd Land. Admiral Byrd named the land after his wife during his first flight over the South Pole. After dropping the team off, Patriot 2 headed back to base. Everything ran smoothly for about 3 to 4 weeks, until one day the scientific team didn't radio in during their designated check-in time. Day 2 and no contact, Patriot 2 was ordered to fly back out to camp and check on them. Upon landing, Patriot 2 sends one of his men to make contact with the team. As he approached the camp, an eerie feeling sent chills up the soldier's spine. He quickly noticed that all the people still there. Believe Mel Gibson's role in 1997 movie Conspiracy Theory was a depiction of his most popular work with the USA is Project Bluebeam. In this text, he claims that NASA, with the help of the United Nations, is going to implement a new age religion. With the Antichrist at the helm, they're going to force a new world order. And they're going to do this by using thousands of satellites they put into orbit that will cast holograms, making us think alien invasion is coming. Like the ones you see behind me. They're going to form this up slowly by creating holograms in the sky of UFOs and other anomalies. More examples. Eventually, depicting the second coming of Christ. They'll convince people Christ is returned, but he'll be a false prophet. In 1995, he lost his kids to the state. 1996, he died of a heart attack after being in jail. The legend of Lake Vostok. 1998, Russian and U.S. teams pulled a 2-mile-long core out of the surface of Antarctica. 14 years later, after almost 30 years working on a project, they cracked into the cavern of Lake Vostok. Many studies have showed that the O2 content around Lake Vostok was 20 times that of anywhere on the Earth's surface. The oxygen content, along with the lake being a time capsule for the last 15 million years, provided perfect conditions for it to be teeming with new life. As the expedition team neared the cavern, they knew something was wrong when within 50 feet, all comms shut off. With radio silent, they got to the lake's ice shores and an eerie feeling crept over them. But regardless of any feelings they had, they pressed on with the mission. They dove in the lake and quickly began taking samples. Frantically, their colleagues at the service tried to reach them to no avail, unaware that the team was already fighting for their lives. As one of the Russian scientists was collecting samples, he saw another team member swimming up to him and began swimming towards him. A fear crept over him, but it was too late. They called it specimen 46B, and his colleagues had to watch as 46B tore him limb from limb, consuming every piece. History of the Anunnaki, Atlanteans, and Lemurians. When the Anunnaki first got here, they landed in the ocean, but established a place called Eridu on land. Eridu translates to home far away. That leads me to believe they established their base in Antarctica, pre-Ice Age. Here's Africa, here's Antarctica. Check out the pictures of this recently discovered map of Antarctica with no ice. After establishing their base in Antarctica, the Anunnaki started their gold mines in South Africa. When the gold mines were finally up and running, they built a base on Mars to establish a midway point between Earth and Nibiru. Initially, the Anunnaki were using an ancient alien race known as the Agigi for their labor force. Translated ancient Sumerian text actually shows that the Agigi were believed to be the good gods and the Anunnaki the evil gods. Here, Sumerians portrayed the Agigi as a more human-like hybrid. As you can see here, the Anunnaki are depicted holding the bag. Stay tuned, gonna be good. This is the legend of the Philadelphia experiment. The U.S. government's attempt during World War II to make an entire ship disappear. Theorists say that disturbing things happened to the sailors on board. According to witnesses, on October 28, 1943, the USS Eldridge, a Cannon-class destroyer, was being used for top-secret experiments that could change the tides of the war. The rumor was the U.S. government had come up with a cloaking technology that could render any ship invisible to radar. And in the Philadelphia shipyard that day, it was time to test it out. Witnesses say as the Eldridge powered up, an eerie green energy field surrounded the ship, and then it disappeared. The ship was then spotted in a Virginia shipyard and then teleported back to Philadelphia. Some went insane, and some got a mysterious illness. But worst of all, some of the sailors were said to have gotten fused to the ship. Many of them still alive as they were cutting them free. For more on the story, check part 2. Recently, a team of scientists at MIT revealed the first artificial intelligence to have gone rogue. The AI, known as Norman the Psychopath, has began making thoughts and ideals of his own. They ran this experiment to outline what AI could potentially become, and the results were disturbing. Let's go over what the experiment consisted of. The scientists wrote an algorithm for the AI that promoted learning. In the beginning, they fed Norman the Psychopath nothing but disturbing images of murders and death, while they presented 2 other forms of AI with nothing but pleasant images. After this, they presented the robots with inkblot images and were asked what they saw. The first robot said she saw a vase with flowers in it. The next robot said she saw a bird. Norman the Psychopath said he saw a man being shot. And when presented with another image, Norman saw a man being put through a dough press. As we move forward, we better tread lightly and listen to him. The Mayan civilization and what I believe happened to them. Recently, they used new sound wave technology to fly over the ancient Mayan ruins. And when they got the results, they were amazed. They found that the ancient Mayan ruins were actually much larger than they thought. They had up to 60,000 homes in just the city alone. So they figure instead of 2 million, the population was up to 20 million. The real question is, what happened to them? They just vanished without a trace. No signs of any warring tribes, no signs of any burial sites. So where did 20 million people go? My theory is that these people finally figured out how to live in peace. That an ancient alien faction actually seen them succeed in life and love and took them under their wing. They either took them to outer space, or I have a theory that they actually went to Middle Earth through a Stargate. The same thing can be said for ruins all over the world. They just disappeared. These are the homes of the Anasazi. A team of archaeologists recently discovered an ancient Babylonian seal that seems to depict an atomic bomb going off. Skeptics would disagree, saying that ancient theorists take things too literally. But the next generation of archaeologists would argue we've been looking at our ancient history all wrong. And that actually at one time, we were a much more advanced race than we ever believed. They would go on to say that architectural marvels like the pyramids only further back this theory. So is this seal actually trying to warn us? Are they trying to tell us that we had already ended our civilization once with nuclear war? After looking into this, I actually found substantial evidence that says yes. Instances like Libyan desert glass and nuclear radiation in Antarctica. And if you really want to dig deep, look up ancient Sumerian tablets. Sumerians were believed to be slaves of the Anunnaki, too. The conspiracy theorist who predicted his own death 9/11, and the New World Order. Milton William Cooper, also known as Bill Cooper, was born in 1943 in California. After high school, Cooper went to the military, where he joined the Navy and fight in Vietnam. It was at this time when he saw top secret documents while working for a briefing team under Admiral Bernard A. Cleary. He was the Admiral of Navy's Pacific Fleet. Cooper had seen top secret documents that proved collusion between the United States and aliens. He claims that we wanted to work with aliens to create a new world order. He also claimed to see other top secret files that explained that Kennedy's driver was actually the one that shot him. And apparently he did this using a gas pressure device developed by the aliens. After Vietnam, Cooper attempted to reach the media and inform the public. But on his way to meet the reporter, he was hit by a black limousine, leg amputated too. If you're Rh negative blood type, what does that mean? And why is only 15% of the world's population Rh negative? Do Rh negative people actually have a resistance to the coronavirus? Stay tuned to find out. The Rh stands for rhesus factor because it was discovered in the 1940s that the rhesus monkey had the same protein attached to their red blood cells as most humans do. This Rh factor has been used to help back the theory of evolution for years, but only 85% of the population is Rh positive. The other 15% is Rh negative. They can't be traced back to a lineage of apes. You can see here the highest concentrations are in Europe and America. Whether they manipulated us in the lab or actually did it by interbreeding is not known.
イベント大会の参加登録が混んでて参っちゃっ
Why is it that yes, on average they are more resistant to the COVID virus? Check part 2 for theories. An underwater Area 51 that's built on the edge of the Bermuda Triangle and on top of Atlantis. You heard it here first at Night God 333. Navy military base AUTEC, Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center. AUTEC is a laboratory that performs integrated three-dimensional hyperspace measurements for underwater warfare. It's located just off Andros Island in the Bahamas. But it is believed there's much more to this military base than meets the eye. With ex-employees and witnesses stating they've seen things in the water that are unexplainable. This could explain all the weird happenings in the Bermuda Triangle. It is said that AUTEC was built on one of the many ruins of Atlantis scattered throughout the world due to the cataclysms. And that if you build on any portion of what was Atlantis, you can travel through different dimensions. Yes, you heard me right. There's a military base practicing interdimensional travel as we speak. For more, check the next part. Russian genius child says the Egyptian Sphinx holds the key that will change life on Earth. The boy genius has baffled scientists for 20 years. Boris Kiprianovich claims he was a Martian in a previous life and that the key is located behind the right ear of the Sphinx. Growing up, it didn't take long for parents and teachers to realize Boris was special. He could read and write by 2 years old and had a photographic memory. He also talked often about the solar system, which nobody had ever taught him. When a young student, Boris claimed he flew to ancient Egypt as a Martian pilot. He said that Martians and ancient Egyptians had a strong relationship when the Egyptians were the pinnacle of mankind. When unlocked, he says we will have access to a life-changing technology. As a Martian, Boris said he was 7 meters tall, or 21 feet, breathed CO2, and that nuclear war is what caused the death of Mars. Many died, but some of them made it underground, where they still live today. Signs that you have been marked by gray aliens. Gray aliens tend to be malevolent beings. They like to harass you, and a lot of times they'll think your house is haunted, but it's not. They don't always do this, but a lot of times they will. They'll mark you by using utensils in the house to make a reflection on the ceiling. You'll often find things out of place, or even feel like somebody's watching you. There will be a lot more birds than usual around your house. They may even flock in the thousands. This is due to their magnetic presence. They usually won't show their cards, but the reason they're there is because they want somebody in your house. If you try to put up cameras, they'll blot them out. You'll never catch them on film. They will make you think you're going crazy. And the whole time, they're getting a kick out of it. If you get sick, check behind your ear. If you have a red mark, it's an implant. Best advice I can give, seek an expert. Or move. If you fear guns as well, educate yourself.
What's a conspiracy theory that absolutely blows your mind?
I read one the other day that said that 36% of all U.S. presidents have made contact with aliens at least once, starting with George Washington. And that every U.S. president since Grover Cleveland has met with them in a city called Telos in Mount Shasta, California. And this ancient city is actually connected to Middle Earth. And the reason they went to Earth was because two ancient alien factions got in a nuclear war. And the reason they went to war was because one of them wanted to enslave us to mine gold. This nuclear war actually resulted in the death of Mars and almost resulted in the death of our planet. But instead, it caused Noah's flood. The aliens that didn't want to leave Earth went down to Middle Earth, where they reside to this day, but they're waiting for us to reach 5 feet so they can invite us into their world.
プレイヤーたちが協力して全100層からなるラインクラップを攻略し現実世界に帰還したけど
In 2007, a US DIA employee turned whistleblower. He felt that people should know about Project Serpo. Project Serpo was an agreement between us and the aliens that crashed at Roswell. When the aliens crashed in 1947, one of them lived and 3 of them died. The one that lived was never able to fix the craft's communication system before he passed away in 52. But in December of the same year, we fixed it and we were able to contact his home planet. Communication transpired over the next 10 years, and they were able to talk about an exchange program. We were going to exchange 12 of our inhabitants for 12 of theirs. They were going to live on each planet for 10 years. So we trained 12 astronauts, 10 men and 2 women. The training was rigorous, and it was ideal if they didn't have any ties to Earth. Due to the fact they were going to be on alien planet Serpo, 40 light years away. The exchange was supposed to happen in 1964, but instead they took the remains of their dead bodies, came back in 65, and the exchange took place.
ゲームコイン現実還元システムを採用しているからプロとして稼いでいる人たちがいるの。難易度は結構高い方よ。まああまり堅苦しく考えなくていいから。今 GGO は大型アップデートが実施されてあんたに付き合ってほしいのはそのイベント大会。すっごいレアアイテムがフィールドに隠されているんだって。そういうこと。もちろんお礼はちゃんとするわよ。プライス。それに初心者でもあんたならいい線いくんじゃない？あんたのゲームセンスは信用できるわ。頑張って私のためにお宝ゲットしてね。期待しているわ。うわ、いつきさんだ。あの人も大会に参加するのかな。そんな不思議そうな顔しないでよ。あそこにいる人。もうどこに注目してんのよ。まあ確かにあの人は GGO トッププレイヤーの一人、いつきさん。彼が率いるスコードランのスコードランっていわゆるギルドみたいなものね。
いや、君たちも大会に参加するの？はい。クレハ君だよね。噂は聞いている？あちこちのスコードローンを渡り歩いているんだろう。クレバーな戦況分析が頼りになるって評判。あ
りがとうございます。
そこの君は初期装備みたいだけど、
私の幼馴染なんです。ゲームはめちゃくちゃうまいけど GGO にログインしたのは
初日から大会に参加するなんて冒険。はじめまして。どこへ着き。銃の戦いはレベルやステータスだけが強さなんだ。面白い戦いを期待。いつきさんはすごいけど
私だってもう少しでトップ入りの腕前なんだから、そう簡単に負け。準備はいい？ OK ならそこの転送ゲートに入って大会の会場となるダンジョンに転送されるわ。
Baby, stop.
敵はドイツだ。
一応戦闘の基本を教えておくわね。大丈夫、あんただったらすぐになれるわよ。せっかくだしダッシュやジャンプも試してみて。リアルよりずっと体が軽くてびっくりするから。あ、そうそう、視線に違和感がないか周囲を見渡してみて。もし違和感があったらオプションで設定を変更ね。ここで待ってるからゆっくり調整してていいわよ。
Bitch, what the fuck did you say?
いい感じね。武器の収納と切り替えは基本中の基本。じゃあ何回か練習してみて。
行動に移すぞ。
いい感じね。敵がいるわ。
Hey.
I'll be next to you. That's why I can see you. Okay. No.
？Baby boy.
ちょうどいいところにエネミーがいるわね。とりあえず実践ね。倒してみて。よし、いいじゃない。
手を貸してくれ。討伐完了。
いい感じね。
よくやった。
このボックスはバレットボックス。その調子よ。 GGO の特徴的なシステムの一つにバレットラインっていうものがあるんだけど、これは実際に見てもらった方がいいかも。エネミーと戦って実際に体験してみて。やるじゃない。
トレジャーボックスがあるぞ。
トレジャーボックスってそれじゃあ階段を上がって先に進みましょう。パーティーメンバー全員がやられちゃったらゲームオーバーだから、やられる前にやってやるのが基本。プレイヤーとは戦闘になりそう。プレイヤーはエネミーに強敵だから気をつけてね。あんたの武器だから走りながら撃つのがおすすめかな。相手の弾が当たりづらくなるから走ることかなり重要よ。グレネード行くわ。これで終わり。楽勝ね。
こんなものか。
あの扉いかにもって感じよね。せっかくだし開けてみたらどう？ダンジョン内にはいろんなギミックやトラップがあるからよくよし。私が教えられるのはこれくらいかな。初めてにしてはいい線いってると。 GGO の基本的な戦闘は大体分かったでしょ。あとは実戦で自分に合ったスタイルを見つけていけばいいわ。さあこれから ちこち探索してレアアイテムを手に入れるわよ。
あれ、君たちは。
隙を見て逃げるわよ。樹さんの仲間なら相当手だれのはず。こちらが不利すぎるわ。
もしかして逃げる相談をしてる？正しい判断だとは思うけど、スクレハ君はともかくニュービーの君は一発で死ぬんじゃないかな。正解と言いたいところだけど、君たちも警戒が足りないよ。どうせなら実に退屈極まりない。
だから見逃すとでも言うんですか？
まさか。ここは GGO。 そうだな、僕に殺されるのとあっちのエネミーに殺される、この奥に少し面倒くさそうなエネミーが配置されている。もしかしたらトラップが、だけどあれを倒さないと先に進めなさそうな。もちろん倒してくれたらお礼に
どうする？悔しいけど今の私たちじゃ樹さんには勝てないわ。
いいね、レース。
分かったわ。樹さん、エネミーを倒した後は？
分かってる。僕は嘘はつくけど約束は破らない主義なんだ。
見つけた。その調子よ。なんとか勝てたわね。樹さん、これで文句はないでしょ？
ああ、
この先道が2つに分かれているから、まず私たちは別の道を選びます。
実は僕くじ運が全くなくてね。だから君たちが先に選ぶといい。
分かりました。
まだ成長の喜びを感じれるとはな。
さっきはなんとかうまくいってよかったわ。樹さんは人気者だけどやっぱり GGO のプレイヤーね。みんな戦闘となると容赦ないから気をつけないと。今回の目的はレアアイテム狙いなんだから、強敵との戦いはなるべく避けるわよ。ほら見て。大体こういう装置を操作すると何かしら先に進めたりするのよ。こんな風に。あれ？落ち着いて。ワープゲートよ。すぐに追いかけるから動かないで。
プレイヤー認証マスター登録開始。ユーザー名登録完了。
大丈夫だ、スナ。問題ない。
マスター。ちょっと待ちなさい。あなたこそ銃を下ろして。いつの間に背後を。
話を聞いてくれ。 俺たちはもう戦うつもりはない。残念だけど間に合わなかったからな。
間に合わなかった？何を言っているの？
すでにそこのアバシスはマスターと認めたようだし。
この子がレアアイテム。
なあ、正確にはこの前の大型アップデートで実装されたプレイヤーサポート AI アバシスだよ。
Three conspiracies about the European laboratory known as CERN that will blow your mind. What is CERN? CERN is a massive particle physics laboratory located in Geneva. They're trying to create the God particle, or the particles that make up the universe, by slamming subatomic particles into each other at the speed of light. In 2016, CERN was finally able to use a laser and create atoms of antimatter out of hydrogen. This has Christians in an uproar, saying that what they're trying to do is actually create a portal to hell. Conspiracy number one.
残念だったね、キリト君。またコツコツとホープキリト1ヶ月で GGO トップランカーにのし上がったという高原使いのあのキリトさん。
キリトでいいよ。こっちはアスナ。別のゲームでは先行とか。
キリト君、もう余計
悪い悪い。
名前はランキングで何度も見ているわ。アバシス、私があなたのマスターよ。
私はアファシステムタイプ X A29000。マスター登録はすでに完了。この人が私のマスターです。現在メインシステムを 50% まで起動中。しばらくお待ちください。
やっぱりな。だから倒しても無駄だと思ったんだ。
よくわかったね、キリト君。
アバシスがマスターと呼んでいたからさ。それに
ちょっと、なんで勝手にマスター登録しちゃったのよ。あんたのものは私のものでしょ。言い訳したって無駄なんだから。よし、あんたのものは私のものだからあんたのアファシスも私のもの。そういうことにしてあげるわ。
クレハはマスターの上位者。
じゃあ俺たちはこれで。まだ時間は残っているし、せっかくだから優勝くらいはしとかないと。
商品も豪華らしいよ、キリト君。ユイちゃんが喜ぶものがあればいいんだけど。私クレハって言います。 絶対に。
ナイスガッツ。それと君、いい名前だな。一つ聞きたいんだけど。なるほど、そうだよな。こういうものの理屈なんて、君とは気が合いそうだ。
またねアガシスちゃんも。バイ。
メインシステム起動。90。マスター、私の名前を決めてください。変更は可能ですが、変な名前をつけたら爆発します。それは仕様です、マスター。タイプ X はそれぞれ個性がある優れ。
それより早く名前をつけてあげたら。これからずっと
登録完了。想定よりいいセンスで安心しました。
いい名前じゃな。
初めて名前をくれたマスターにはプレゼントをあげます。マスターに向いて、これはアルティメットファイバーガン。倉庫に埋もれています。経験値という情報が不足。
それって
そうです。早速 UFG を使ってみる。クレハは上から見ててほしいのです。きっとびっくりしちゃいますよ。
ここからじゃダメ。
上だと。
分かった。じゃあ